gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Lakota Carter Show channel. Let me scoot closer for you guys because this is a story that I've been wanting to tell for a while now. I got Wendy's in my room still. I'm still eating on my fries, dog. Like, these fries are delicious. Y'all ain't never had Wendy's fries? Go pick some up. Alright. On to the non-goofy side of me, because this video is going to be very serious. I get this question all the time. While I'm at school, while I'm out in public, while I'm doing my videos. Why do you talk about wrestling so much? Why do you love it the way you do? I guess it's a good slash bad thing. Why I love. She just whooped the dog's ass. Why I love professional wrestling the way I do. It all started back in 2009, where my grandpa died. My grandpa was my best friend, and I'm going to try not to cry in this video, but it's probably going to be very hard. My grandpa was my best friend, and he was in a car wreck. I think he was like 80, no, he was 92, excuse me. He was 92, and fell asleep on his way from church. He was exhausted, tired, and he got hit by a truck and was hospitalized for about a month. They brought him home. He started feeling better, and I thought I had my pal back. I thought I had my buddy back, but one of the most soul-crushingest things that have ever happened to me in my life. Me and my papa used to drink Ensure. If you don't know what Ensure is, it's a boost for your immune system, boost for your strength. It's a drink. It's actually very good. If you haven't tried it, I urge you to try it. Even though I can't drink them to this day because it reminds me of him. We used to drink those all the time. I would come down, he would crack me one open, and I would drink them suckers with him like there was no tomorrow. And my grandmother at the time, which was his daughter, I know it don't make any sense, but my grandmother at the time, God bless her soul, rest in peace, Nanny, I love you. Gave him an Ensure. He took a drink of it and spit it out and asked her what that nasty stuff was. I immediately walked onto the porch. I took my head down and I started bawling. Because at that point, I knew my grandpa was gone and I wasn't getting my best friend back. About a week later, he was back in the hospital because he really couldn't remember. He had dementia out the ass. He really did. I remember the last thing that my papa said to me. I'll never forget it as long as I live. He had dementia, but it's like he knew what was going on. It's like he knew where he was at all times. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but it's cool. I'm gonna cry. We're already at 4 minutes. This video is gonna be a pretty long video. He looked up at me and he said, "Jesus is calling me." And I said, "Pop, you've done enough here. You can go home." He looked at me with the most peaceful look in his eyes. As peaceful as I've ever seen my grandpa. He looked at me and he said, "You know something? I'm really gonna miss you, little buddy." I was bawling. He grabbed my hand and he And he told me to never give up on my dreams. And that was like I was talking to my old papa. I was talking to my old buddy, my best friend again. I haven't seen that side. I hadn't seen that side of my papa since the wreck. He told me never to give up on my dreams. I could do anything I wanted to in life. That I was gonna have a family. That I was gonna achieve greatness. That God put me on this earth for a reason, and that reason He didn't know it. I didn't know it. Nobody knew it but Him. And I would find that reason later on in life. And then all of a sudden, all we heard was, "I love you all." My dad was standing in the room. My nanny was standing in the room. My brothers, my sisters, my uncle. He said, "I love you all. It's time for me to go home." As soon as he said it's time for me to go home, the monitor just beep, flatline. Beep. Beep. Well, I can't do it. It's like my throat doesn't want me to do it. It's like beep. And he flatlined. Passed away that day. And the last thing my papa ever touched, my papa ever laid on, was a John Deere blanket, and I have it safely tucked away because that is my most valuable possession because it was the last thing that he ever had. I was really depressed. You're probably thinking, how the hell does wrestling go into this sad-ass story? So after the funeral, that was probably one of the hardest things I've had to do in my life is go to my grandpa's funeral because I went up to the casket and I was real little, but I still knew that that was my papa, and I love my papa dearly. And I remember my dad lifting me up because I was short as hell. He lifted me up and told me to kiss Pappy goodbye. I kissed him goodbye and it was as cold as a freezer. And I loved him. I hope that I've made him proud by following my dreams, by not giving up, because Lord knows there's been days where I've just wanted to quit. Where I've run out of the gas tank. Those words, "don't give up and keep following your dreams," have stuck with me for the rest of my life. Now, about a month or two passes after my grandpa died, and I was still really depressed. I didn't want to talk to no one. I didn't want to be around no one. I went to school after about 2 months missing, but the school knew why I missed 2 months. My dad and mom called and said that we have suffered a devastating loss, and it affected me greatly, and it did. I go to school that day, and one of my best friends in this entire world, Nathan Lusk, if you're out there, buddy, I love you to death, and I hope to see you once again one day. He said, "Hey, man, how you been?" And I was like, "Man, my grandpa just died, man. I'm not doing too good." He said, "Sorry to hear that, man. You know what? Have you ever watched WWE?" And at this time, I was like, "What the hell is WWE?" Because I didn't know. And he's like, "I just want you to go home, and I want you to turn on your TV, and I want you to watch it." So I went home. I looked up Monday Night Raw. It came on Monday. I clicked on it. I seen John Cena and CM Punk. Or I'm sorry, it was John Cena and Randy Orton. From that moment forward, my life was changed forever. I was glued to my television. I was happy again. I was filled with great, great joy. And it's that every time I turn on my TV, I get that. Every time I turn on my TV to watch professional wrestling, I get that feeling of happiness and joy and gratefulness. About, I'd say, mid-July of this year, I went and saw one of my idols in my whole entire life. JR, who is the best sports broadcaster, in my opinion, to ever walk the face of the planet. And I remember telling him my story and how I have cerebral palsy, and he was like, well, I have Bell's palsy. And if you guys don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's not cerebral palsy, because cerebral palsy is in your nerves. But JR, Bell's palsy comes in attacks. JR's had 3 Bell's palsy attacks, and now he can no longer smile. So that's affected his life for the rest of his life. And I remember him grabbing me by the shoulder, and it really changed my life. And I've never got to tell him this, but I hope this reaches him one day, that you changed my life that day, JR, and I really thank you for that. He told me just to get a good education, to follow my dreams, and if I wanted to do it, then I could do it. He grabbed me by the shoulder and said something that has stuck with me through those months and will stick with me for the rest of my life. He said, grabbed me by the shoulder to take a picture. He said, old broadcaster and new broadcaster. Boom. Took the picture. I shook his hand, told him how big of an inspiration he was to me, and I thanked him for everything he's done for the professional wrestling business. I bought some of his barbecue sauce, and I walked out. That morning, I woke up. The morning after meeting JR, I was happy. I wake up, my dad and stepmom tell me to come in the living room, and there's a screenshot about Twitter, and it's Jim Ross, and that picture that me and him took was on his Twitter. He said, this young lad wants to become a broadcaster. This young lad has cerebral palsy and wants to become a broadcaster. And Brandon Lowe, well, if not my most, outside of my parents and my family, the most supportive person that I've ever met in my career and my dreams. So thank you, Brandon, for that one. He said, man, I'd love to give him a tour of the studios. We got in contact with him. We said, got in touch. We drove down to the studio, got my first tour, and immediately walking into that place, it was just an overwhelmingness of nervousness and excitement both. If you've ever had that feeling where you're like, your heart's beating out of your chest because you don't want to mess it up, but at the same time you just feel right at home, and I felt right at home, and I still do inside that studio. And that studio is my home. Broadcasting is my home. It's what I was born to do. And I was sitting here earlier today in after school, and I was doing my work, which, by the way, after school was a big waste of time. And I was doing my work, and it really hit me. I was like, damn, my grandpa is right. It did hit me in later in life. So, that's why I talk about wrestling so much. It was, my grandpa passed away, and it changed my life for forever. And it always had. It always did. So, for anybody out there that wants to follow their dreams and doesn't know if they can do it, and if they have a disability, and if they're getting paid, I've been fortunate enough. Never in my life, because I'm such a nice person who is the greatest, one of the best people to hang around, and that's not me boosting my ego or nothing. It's surreal, from my podcast to getting messages every day saying how I've helped people. to how I've got messages of people saying I'm following my dreams because of you, and that changes my day. That makes my day. And to anybody who thinks they can't follow their dreams, whatever you want to be in life is gonna be as hard as you make it. It's one of the greatest quotes that my broadcast partner ever told to me, and it is in my pocket. Oh, milk lid. But one of the most inspirational quotes I've ever heard from my broadcast partner, Brandon Lowe. Love you, brother. Your dreams are going to be as hard as you make them to make it possible. And, for the people who think they're better than anybody else out there, you're only better than the person you were yesterday, And that's one of the great quotes I just heard a couple days ago. You're only better than the person you were yesterday. And, it's really crazy, man. To think what I've come from a kid from Chapmanville, West Virginia, living in a trailer, to a kid that is very fortunate to have the things he has, to having an iPhone 8 that I'm talking to you on right now, to having a PS4, to having a TV, to having a bed to sleep in, to having 2 cars, to having 3 cars, to having 4 cars. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. She's arguing with the dogs. But yeah, that's my advice to anybody who wants to follow their dreams. You're only better as the person you were yesterday. Don't ever give up. With that being said, guys, I'm going to end this video at 17 minutes and 45 seconds. Probably longer because I just started talking. But yeah, guys, that is my rant for this week. For this week. Blah, blah, blah. I got a bunch of stuff to record still, but it's almost Monday Night Raw time, so I'll probably have to record that tomorrow. I love doing this YouTube thing. It really gives me another outlet to get better at my job, and I really enjoy that. That life is something special, and it's crazy, man. It's a crazy roller coaster ride that God wouldn't put us on if He didn't think we could handle. So, get up out your beds. Stop eating your Cheetos and get up and go follow your dreams. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for all the love and support on the channel, in my life. I love you guys. Brotherhood for life. Peace, guys.